DuckTalks is part of Res TV's network of podcasts. Check out res.tv for other great podcasts.
You would figure it out sooner or later. Today is Mr. McDuck's birthday.
His birthday? Okay, people, we are in crisis party planning mode. Louis, start a guest list. Dewey...
Absolutely not. Mr. McDuck has a strict no birthday party rule. He hates the reminder that he's...
literally the oldest person he knows? But our most epic relative deserves the most epic party ever!
It's the week of Wednesday, May 30th, and you're listening to episode 25 of DuckTalks. Hey there, and welcome to our show. This is DuckTalks, and we talk about all things DuckTales, including the new show that was rebooted recently on the Disney XD, made a move to the Disney Channel. And we also like to talk about the Disney Afternoon and just about anything related to Disney animation, really with everything that's changing recently. So that's what we're going to be doing, and we hope you enjoy the show. My name's Mitch. I'm one of your hosts, and joining me as usual is my good buddy Pirate Steven.
Ahoy there, Pirate Steven here. But guess what? Josh is here too. Hey, Josh.
Hey guys. Woohoo! I don't know if that was a good woohoo.
No, it was great. I mean, it peaked. Levelator's going to have a good time bringing it back down.
I got to remember that's my call sign from now on.
Well, you guys ready for another week of talking about another great, I'm going to see how many times I can say another, great episode, of DuckTales, another?
Yes.
That was the curious, I'm not sure, yes?
Yes, question mark, exclamation point, question mark.
Yes.
Is there going to be another take?
No, that was it. I'm using that.
Oh, that was it.
Yeah, no, that was it. There's no more takes. I'm no more Michael Bay for me. We're just going with it.
Yeah, I can't wait till we do a live show with audience, so everybody can get to hear what a recording session is like with Mitch. It's quite entertaining.
What we need to do is start petitioning for a live show at D23 in a year. That way that we can start the momentum going, and then we'll be asked to come. That's what it needs to happen.
We got to get some interviews in too.
Yeah,
those are coming. I've got some promises. We'll get to those shortly. I gotta get some things out of the way. Speaking of which, this episode probably a little bit different, maybe a little more like last week's episode. This week, when this comes out, I'm at Walt Disney World. So we took just a little bit of time to talk about this episode. There's not going to be any news, no Duck merch, nothing like that this week. You can check out Twitter or maybe the website, DuckTalks.com, and Twitter, we're at DuckTalks. But we're going to get into this episode because this was an episode that I've been looking forward to since the beginning of the season. As soon as I saw a promo that was missing a specific character, I was ready for this episode. Dun, dun, dun. I'm going to include that in there.
Well, you need to have like Dewey going, oh yeah.
Oh, believe me, I'm going to cut a lot of DJ Daft Duck and put him in our episodes from now on.
Is he your favorite character?
Dewey?
Yeah.
I think last week I said that I was going to say Dewey's my favorite character this week. So let's talk about this episode. So the episode is titled McMystery at McDuck McManor. It was written by Colleen Evanson, directed by John Aoshima. Now, John Aoshima did the episode The Buddy System, and Colleen's done a lot of episodes leading up to this one. And it is honestly in my top rankings. I don't have a top 5 or top 3 yet that I can work out, but this is high on my list. Before we dive into it a little bit more, we're going to do our 30-second recap. You guys ready?
Oh no. I got to pick a number that's not going to get picked.
For those who maybe haven't caught our show before, we will begin with a 30-second recap where we're each going to pick a number. We've got a randomizer online that we're using to pull a number, and whoever's number is pulled has to do a 30-second recap of the episode. Seems self-explanatory, but I felt like I needed to go through it anyway. What number do you have, Josh?
I want to go with lucky number 3 again.
Oh, it's been lucky so far, hasn't it?
It has.
All right, Steven.
I'm gonna go with the deuce, number 2.
All right, I feel like we're just going to assign these numbers because I think pretty sure that's the numbers you've gone with every week. No, because I was 1 on one of the first ones and got it.
You're
Anyway,
always number 1.
You're always number 1.
oh wait, I am always number 1.
I hope we get number 1 on this one.
Oh, and it's a number 1.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, no, good job.
Hey, let's do like we did that first week and everybody go through theirs.
Yeah, we're good.
All right, okay. I'm going to take a breath. I'll hit start about the time I start talking. We'll see if I can do this. I don't know that I can. Beakley is taking Webby on a trip. Donald takes off because it's Scrooge's birthday. Huey throws a party, but Scrooge doesn't like parties. Scrooge isn't having a good time, so they go straight to Nick Nocturne. Scrooge disappears in the Abyss box, and it becomes a mystery party. Nocturne summoned a demon that ends up being the ghost of Duckworth. Duckworth saved Scrooge, and Scrooge toys with everybody. All right, that was rough. I apologize, but that was 26 seconds.
Yeah, I can do it. I can do a 20 Oh, how many second ones? 30 seconds.
Yeah.
All right, go.
All right, reset. Go.
Are you kidding me? Duckworth is a ghost, and he was in the opening credits this whole time. Are you joking? The whole time he was right in front of our eyes, and we didn't even know it. That was crafty, Frank. That was good. I cannot believe he was in the opening credits the whole time. That is insane. Oh, man.
I think you're over 30 seconds now.
How many seconds?
25.
Really? That was... Wow.
No. But yeah, that's
Man,
my reaction.
That was my reaction. Now, for those who maybe haven't followed from the beginning, Frank was asked a lot once promo material started coming out. Where's Duckworth? Where's Duckworth? We haven't seen Duckworth. Have we seen Duckworth? And he said, you have seen Duckworth. He was in an earlier promo. And everybody, including myself, put a lot of time into going through all of those promos and trying to find him. And although there were some characters that we thought might have been him, Duckworth was not to be found.
Oh, we wasted so much time looking for him too.
You know, but I'm not mad, not bitter. Frank, that it was good. It was, you played that well.
A lot of people thought that younger looking guy that looks like Duckworth was him, but
yeah, I think not. I think I've heard every theory, even, the episode Day Trip of Doom where Webby says, hey, look, it's a dog with a bow tie. I mean, I think people said that might have been Duckworth. We didn't see him. It was just a mention. But, yeah, wow, it was nuts to finally find out. So Duckworth does show up, ends up he's dead, and he's a ghost that, a Beagle boy conjures up. And but I thought the storyline with him, they mentioned him earlier in the episode. He just kind of gets a throwaway about I guess it's the painting that's on the wall, and they're talking about his old. Oh, it's about Scrooge's birthday. Webby says Scrooge hasn't enjoyed his birthday since Duckworth passed away,
and there's a picture of him dusting a picture of Scrooge.
Yeah, which is something that leaked a while back, and people started talking about what is that. We talked about it on one of our episodes about either it being a mirror, and I still like this idea, it being a mirror and Duckworth just kind of in the background somewhere doing something, and he always stays off camera. But it was a painting, and it turned out to be a painting. So Scrooge had a painting of Duckworth made where Duckworth is dusting a painting of Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, I mean, you said this leaked. There was, I guess, the first 5 minutes or so of it that was on a YouTube promo for DuckTales, and this is like months ago. So we didn't know when this episode was actually going to air. So here it is. It's finally here. It's kind of like a Clue mystery birthday party type thing. It wasn't supposed to be that way, but. Definitely one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I thought it was funny where Scrooge disappears and they're trying to figure out who did it, and they're like, hey, it was this person. And then the lights would go out, and then it'd be gone. They're like, no, I guess it's this person.
I love how my favorite character, Louie, Team Louie, hashtag Team Louie, goes in and he's in charge of the invite list, and he invites Mark Beaks, Glom Gold, and Ma Beagle as the most prestigious people in Duckburg. I thought that was hilarious.
And
it was kind of short notice, so yeah.
It was short. I mean, they are prestigious.
And he made it a costume party, and he told Huey that it was because everybody was so prestigious they had to, sneak by the paparazzi. But I think it was really so Huey didn't know who he invited. But every time someone's revealed, you have Huey giving him a look each time, and Louie's like, I had 1 hour.
I love the hidden. I love Easter eggs, and I love how they paid tribute. It's funny at the beginning of the season. Every time we heard something in an episode that could be an Easter egg, we were like, "Oh, that's an Easter egg," and Frank was like, we can't just make the whole show Easter eggs." But in this episode, the security system is called the model DT87, which is DuckTales 87. Which I thought was a pretty cool nod.
I didn't even catch that. That's a good catch.
Yeah, we've seen that on a promo for a future episode as well, so it looks like DT87 gets an upgrade at some point. But with all of the villains being in the house, there's a lot of discussion about, Duckworth, how Duckworth used to run things and how Duckworth used to take care of things. And I think Glom Gold even said he never would have made it into the mansion had Duckworth still been there.
Didn't the Beagle Boy actually conjure him up, Duckworth, back up to being a ghost?
Yes, he had this new Beagle Boy. He is Black Art Beagle. He has a plan with Ma Beagle, but he also has a plan to try and impress Ma Beagle, and that includes conjuring up a demon. Well, he does, and it's the demon that we see in the intro, and it's going to be our art for this episode. But it's the demon that we see with the kind of skull head with, horns. And then later in the episode, we find out that Scrooge didn't really disappear. When Black Art Beagle conjures up the ghost is Duckworth, and he frees Scrooge from the abyss box, which was a magic trick. And Scrooge then goes and hides in his security room, and that's when they start messing with everybody. And we find out after Huey figures out who kidnapped Scrooge McDuck, we find out that this demon is in fact Duckworth, and he takes on his Duckworth form.
Yeah, and I can't watch, after seeing this episode, I can't watch the opening theme song without, there's Duckworth.
They put him right in the opening theme. And Frank told us that. I went through that theme a few times.
Yeah, we would have never guessed. I'm sorry.
Not at all. Never. So let's see. Extremely funny moments. I think all the funny moments came from Team Dewey with DJ Daft Duck, with the guitar and all of his pre-recorded carrying on.
Happy birthday! Meow, 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 meow. Say what?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no!
Blast my bagpipes.
Yeah, and I like how they're like, you can't get that helmet off, can you?
Yeah. You got it stuck.
Yeah, my girls loved this episode. They've gone around carrying on with "Say What" and all of that just ever since we've started watching this episode. There was one interesting part to the story that kind of gave us a little more of background for Duckburg. Ma Beagle was there because she wanted to steal back the deed for the land for Duckburg.
Uncle Scrooge owns the town?
Technically, he owns the land and leases it to the town for a tidy profit.
Oh, he's the best.
He's a thief! Scrooge conned the deed away from my poor, defenseless Grandpappy Beagle, who had the good sense to steal it away from the dumb people of Duckburg first.
So there's where the beef comes from between the Beagle Boys and Scrooge McDuck. That's why they're always trying to steal from Scrooge. They feel like he's already stolen from them.
How old is Scrooge if he's dealing with her grandpappy, and she's like, I guess, like the mom of a bunch of other Beagle boys. I feel like Scrooge is like really old.
Yeah, well, Mount Everest, we found out that 75 years ago, Scrooge climbed Mount Everest.
No, that's true. That's
actually,
true.
he didn't climb Mount Everest. That was the whole point of the story, but he was there. I think Scrooge is supposed to be well over 100 years old. We've not had, at least for this story, for this show, we've not been given a exact date, but we know that he's over 100 years old.
So when do you guys think we're going to get more information about Mrs. Beakley?
That's got to be soon. And you know what? There was one bit of news that we probably could have talked about this week. So last month, the issue of the DuckTales comic book put out by IDW was changed last minute, and they took out a story about Miss Beakley, and they took out a story about her spying, because it apparently had spoilers for an episode that was supposed to have aired but hadn't aired yet. So they made a quick change. And then this week, there was an interview with the voice actress when she was at Disneyland, part of the Disney Channel Go?
Mm-hmm.
They did an interview with all of the cast, and they were talking about their character, and she mentions that she's a spy. And so I think we're about to get that storyline. It has to be this season for them to already, it was already planned for the comic, and she's already feeling like she could talk about it. It's got to be soon.
Yeah, because they kind of keep alluding that she's a spy, but maybe not really a spy. Just like jokingly, she's a spy. And then like at the beginning of this episode, they're going to go train on a mysterious island. It's just like they keep alluding to it. So like, when are we going to get more information about her? And then when she finally gets back, Duckworth is like, what's wrong with you? You're not even keeping up the house like I do. Which she's also like got some kind of alternative motive going on. But I think it's like protecting Scrooge still. But it's like somehow she's a spy for something, and we don't really have any clue what that is.
Yeah, before the Buddy System episode, I would have said I thought she was part of Shush and, was maybe put there to protect him or to, because he's such a, not that Scrooge is such a threat, but that the stuff that he has and the adventures that he goes on have the potential to, really wreck the world. When you think about, what Marvel's done with the Avengers movies and how, they really pointed to the fact that, hey, look, every time you all have these big adventures, something gets destroyed, a city falls, all this stuff. Well, you've got the same thing with Scrooge McDuck. Whenever he goes and does this stuff and he's dealing with these mystical items, he's really messing with stuff that could destroy the world.
It's true.
So I kind of, that's been my take on it. I thought that maybe she was there for that, but now we know Shush was part of a television show. So, I don't know anymore. Maybe it's just, a random spy. But you know what? Let me back up, because we know that Frank Angonis has said that Ludwig von Drake will show up in the show, and he used to be an associate of Scrooge McDuck's, and he's kind of like Scrooge's Q from way back in the day. So it sounds like Scrooge was part of some sort of organization, and I'd say Beakley's part of that. I still think it could be Shush. Maybe they're hiding in plain sight. Or at least they were back when Launchpad was a kid.
Also, could be something to do with, I guess, with Magica, too, because she seems to kind of be very suspicious about Lena in that earlier part of this season. And I don't know if it was just, she just had that suspicious, like, something's off about her, or if she's part of, I guess, protecting them from having magic come back again. I don't know.
Yeah, she really pushed Lena to take her out.
Yeah,
get her out of the picture.
I could see a big battle in some of the finale episodes of season 1 against Magica with Beakley. But I bet you Shush has been in the opening theme song the whole time, and we'll find out like episode 18 that something we've been watching this whole time was should have paid more attention.
Yeah, when they redid the words to the second verse, they hid Shush in there. I'm sure that's what it is. Good call. Hey, we also had some Glom Gold and Mark Beaks and Ma Beagle in this episode. It was great having those characters together. We're big fans of Glom Gold here, and he had... I thought his story where he's telling the boys, everybody's trying to defend themselves about, I came here to do something bad, but that's not, I didn't kidnap Scrooge. That's not what I did. I definitely didn't lock myself in this room with you all. But Glom Gold is, he's got these plans. He's like, I was trying to come up with something, and we see him with a hot air balloon with spikes, and it pops. And then he's got, let's see, there was some scorpions, but before the scorpions, he had a chainsaw tied to an axe, and the chainsaw falls off and chases him across his desk. And then there was the scorpions that he tied bows on, and they of course stung him. And then he said, "So I just took an extra bomb and shoved it in a gift bag and came to the party."
Wait, how did you know it was me?
It's always you.
And it always will be!
I love Glom Gold. Now, there's a lot of people who don't like this version of Glom Gold, though, because they want that more, a more worthy opponent for Scrooge. What do you guys think about that? I know you like the character, but
do you think whoever said that is wrong? Yeah, they're wrong. This is a great character for Scrooge to be an adversary of, and also a frenemy. I think they play off of each other very well. I like the addition of new villains like Mark Beaks, and I'm sure there'll be plenty more throughout the season. So yeah, they're wrong.
Has there been anything in the original series that had this many villains in one episode? I don't know if it's really a villain.
I think so, but it'd be cool if they made some kind of like Furious 5.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. That
or something. I think that'd be cool.
Now they know each other. They can team up against them.
I mean, McDuck teaming up with Magica, or because we've seen that in the comics. But it'd be cool if McDuck teamed up with Glom Gold with some kind of plan to take out Darkwing and Scrooge.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was a great part where Ma Beagle points out that she doesn't understand how Mark Beaks became one of Scrooge's enemies. How he ended up on the enemies list. That's going to do it for us this week. Kind of a shorter episode, but we told you that up front. Hope you enjoyed it. You can reach out to us this week if you want to talk about this episode more. You can catch us on Twitter at DuckTalks. You can also find our website, DuckTalks.com. And let's see, you can find us individually on Twitter. I am at Infinirama616. You can also find Pirate Steven at
The Pirate Steven.
And you can find Josh at
CC Runner 524.
If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, we'd like to ask you to take a moment and to review review our podcast. You can do that by giving us some stars, and if you feel like saying something about the podcast, it goes a long way to helping others find a DuckTales podcast to listen to, and a community to be a part of. So we appreciate it if you would do that, and that's going to do it. So until next time,
see ya.
Bye, Pirate Steven. I'll see you later.
See ya.
DuckTalks is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Any sounds, music, or audio clips played on this podcast are the property of their copyright holders. I was going to say something else. I was. There was. Oh.
Whisper, whisper.
Yeah, I don't want it to be on the recording. I don't want anybody to hear this.